If you're a civil engineer and you're watching this, come closer. This video is for you. My name is Abel Gray Kantoma from GREYTEST Design Consult. You can reach me on this number or call me on any of these numbers, okay? Today I'll quickly take you through a very great software which I always like to recommend is Quickcivilseries. I'm just going to do a very simple design on Quickcivilseries. This is Quickcivilseries 10, a very great software for structural design, mainly reinforced concrete design. I will always recommend it for reinforced concrete design. All right, this is basically the interface for Quickcivilseries 10. For most of you that are familiar with Quickcivilseries, will agree with me that the Quickcivilseries 10, the interface has changed entirely. So I'm just going to do a very simple model here just to demonstrate what you can do with Quickcivilseries 10. I'm going to use a rectangle. You can see you have a lot of shapes here that you can use to generate your model. Behind you can also import your drawing from Quickcivilseries. But on this video, I'm just going to do a very simple model directly from the software itself. So I'm just going to be using some shapes of rectangles just to achieve some model. All right, so let's say here it's a cantilever. Let's say I have another cantilever here. I'm just going to leave it as it is like this. All right, so this is my entire general arrangement. For example, like you know, Quickcivilseries will always automatically position your structural members for you automatically. So what I will do right now is to come to my modeling / shapes type. If I come here now, I can quickly click on automatically generate building structure from selected shape. So it's going to automatically prepare a proper general arrangement for me. Now on this general arrangement, I can then decide to rearrange them however I want them. I can reduce some of the columns, I can increase some of the columns however I want it to do that. But that didn't generate for me. I will just use this select tool and I will select if I click on the bottom left corner of my screen, I will see what is called multiple select shape. There is also continuous select, so I can select the entire shape and I will come to modeling / shapes and I will click on this drop down menu. I will click on automatically generate building structure from selected shapes, and I will click on yes. So you can see that my model has been generated for me automatically. So if you look at the 3D model, you can see what we have here. I have first floor, I have second floor, and then I have my roof plan. So I'm going to Ctrl Z because I want this to be as simple as possible. I wouldn't want this to be very complicated. So I'm just going to Ctrl Z and sorry, let me control where I'm bringing back. Okay, let me still on that. I want this to be just one floor. I don't want this to be, you can see it has first floor, second floor. I don't want the second floor. So I'll come to my settings, I'll come to structural modeling settings, and I will put this as 1. So I'm only going to have one suspended floor instead of 2. So from this shape, modeling / shape, I will also come back here and I will click on generate building structure from selected shapes and I'll click on yes. So I think there is a shape that was not selected. Some of the shapes were not selected, so sorry about that. I will click on this. I will make sure every shape is selected. and then I'll come to modeling / shapes, and I'll click on this again. I'm sure it should give me what I'm looking for. Good. So we are here now. You can see I have my foundation layout, I have my ground floor, I have my first floor, and then I have my roof beam. Mind you, if you come here, you can see automatically my slab and beam layout has been generated. You can see this is 450 by 225. Now by default, these settings is here by default. I can as well change some of these settings and make sure I am putting in all the settings based on what I want this software to always generate for me. So as regards to all my reinforcement bars, the type of the size of the reinforcement, you can see here I can specify whatever size of reinforcement I want to be used on my slab. You can see here we have Y12 for my slab at lower limit bar spacing, 200 spacing. So I can take out my time to put in all my reinforcement settings correctly, however I want this software. So if I don't want this software to use anything less than Y16, I can put that as Y16 as my minimum, and my maximum is 25. The minimum number of Y6, minimum number of Y8, but you know I have already set this to be Y16, so all these other information may not be very relevant, but this is where I need to probably pay more attention to, where I'm going to be having my Y16, right? Because I have set this to be minimum of Y16. So you have your bar links. You can as well specify the minimum thickness of your reinforcement for your links, and then the minimum spacing for your links, right? So similarly, you can do that for all your structural members. You can see here I have minimum bar diameter here is Y12. So from my settings, I can decide to make this Y16. So similarly, you can take out your time to arrange all of this based on the reinforcements. Just do your settings correctly, and then once you put in all your information correctly, it will be there by default, right? So the same way with your loading density of concrete, there will be no need for you to tamper with some of this information, except if you are having probably mostly for most residential building, although you know the density of concrete is 24, your life load, your slab finishings, your partition. So if you are probably dealing with maybe a warehouse, or you are dealing with like a hotel, or yeah, mainly maybe warehouse or another different class of building entirely that has a higher life load, you can come in and put in your information correctly. But you can see this is based on BS8110. You can see your factor of safety for your life load and your depth load, they are all imputed here. Your wall height 3000, units weight of wall 2.87. All these informations are very much correct. And then your soil bearing capacity, very important, it varies based on site. So you know your soil bearing capacity based on the soil report that was given to you on that site. You put in your information there. So structural view settings, automatic design, bar bending schedule, all these informations, they are informations that you should make sure you check them carefully on your own and put in all the right informations correctly. You can see this is characteristic strength of your steel, the concrete cover for your slab, the characteristic strength of concrete, all this information. Make sure you put in all those information, but all the information that is here is very good and is okay if you ask me, except if you are designing for some special type of concrete or some special types of design or that you are probably doing. But then everything here, most of the informations here are very much okay. So this is your design settings that you will need to always do correctly and put in all of those information. So once you put all your settings in order, you can then come back here. So if we come back to our edit, at this point, let's say this is a cantilever and I don't want this column here, and I also don't want this column here. I want this beam to act on this beam as a point load. I want this beam to act on this beam as a point load. So this is going to be my primary beam, this is my secondary beam, this is a primary beam, this is a secondary beam. So if I'm going to do that, I will have to select my column, and then I will come to edit modeling, and I will click on this drop down menu and I will delete selected structural column. So you will discover that once I delete this will automatically also go off, because this is just a ground floor arrangement. Whatever I do on my first floor, automatically it will reflect here. This is just your ground floor level, right? So this is your natural ground level. You can see there is no beam here. There is no beam here. You can see it's just showing the column positions, right? So similarly, I will select this and I will similarly delete this by coming to edit, and I will click on delete structural column. So I have been able to delete this column that is here, but you can see at the roof level that those columns are still there. So if I want my columns to be there, it's going to be acting as a point load as well on top of this beam at that level. So but then if I want everything that is here is the same thing as what I have at my roof level, I can similarly leave that column. But if I don't want that, I can just quickly delete this column as well, and I will delete this column as well. So mind you, this is a roof beam. You can see this is 225 by 300. Like I took you through some of those settings, you can as well go through that settings carefully and change some of this cross section, so you have a minimum cross section that the software will always adopt for you. But if you ask me, I will tell you for your roof beam for normal regular buildings is 300 depth. You know, in Nigeria we always use 225. Some people use 230 as their block size. So if that is correct, what I'm going to do now is just to I'm going to select, I will come to my edit, I will click on cancel all command, I will select this particular beam, and then I will come to design properties, and I will make sure that this is my starting point, this is my end point. So at my end point, I'm going to make this none. So you have to do this, or else the software is going to assume that there is a support that this beam is resting on, whereas this beam is a cantilever beam. So if I put none, this place is going to definitely be a cantilever. That means there is no support there. Now similarly, I'm going to cancel and I will click on select, and I will select this beam. Now this is my starting point, this is the end point. So from left to right is your left. You are moving from left to right, and then you are moving from the top to the bottom, right? So that is how the movement is, top to bottom, right, left to right. So if that is correct, if I select this beam, I will make sure that at the start point I have this beam is resting on this particular beam as a support. So this beam now is a secondary beam, so it's resting on top of a primary beam, and this is the primary beam. So if I put this like this, it's going to design it correctly for me. Another thing very important that you must do, if I generate this, it is not going to design this beam together as continuous. It is going to be designing them separately, this as a span, this as a span separately. and I don't want this the detail to be generated that way. So in order for me to arrange that, I will have to merge my beam. So if I click on merge selected span, I will just merge this. So these beams now are together, it's continuous. Similarly, I'm going to so if I try to select this, you see that they are together, it's one beam. So this beam now that is here and here, I can as well merge these together and make it one beam. Merge selected beam span, so they are one. So this is one beam. So you know, this is supposed to continue with this, so I can also merge it so that it doesn't break the beams at each span. So I will come to edit, merge selected beam. So similarly for, I think I've not done for this, I will also merge this, merge selected beams. I will merge this. I'll also merge this. So for this beam, I will make sure that at the starting it is resting on a primary beam, at the end it is resting on a column support. So this is on a beam, this is on a beam, this is on a column support. Sometimes it's good to just let me just double check this beam and make sure some of these are correct, so that I don't, you know, a computer is normally baggage in, baggage out. If you don't know, it's always garbage in, garbage out. If you don't know what is going on, you might probably end up designing what you are not supposed to design. So I believe everything is okay. I want to assume everything is okay. Anyway, when we generate the detail, we will know if we have made any mistake at any point. So like, you know, this is a beam resting on a primary beam here. This is a beam resting on a primary beam here. This is a cantilever support here. I was supposed to add another cantilever here, but I forgot. Well, even with this, I'm sure we've been able to cover to some reasonable extent what Quickcivilseries 10 can do. But another very important thing that you should do is your slab. You need to always make sure that your edge conditions are correct. So for this panel is actually a cantilever panel, so I will have to tell this software that this panel, you must design it as a cantilever. And then this panel, we have adjacent edge, it is two adjacent edge discontinuous, right? So all of this you must put in your edge conditions correctly, or else when it comes to generating your detail may not generate correctly, and because of that you have to you will be generating a wrong detail entirely, and that can affect your work. Now you can do your design correctly, but when your detailings are not coming out correctly, it's a problem. So I think I have been able to specify all my panels correctly. For this is two adjacent edge discontinuous. Similarly for this is also a two adjacent edge discontinuous. For this is two adjacent edge discontinuous, and then for this it is a cantilever and it is not an interior panel. You can see I made a mistake here. So this is also two adjacent edge that are discontinuous. So this is very, very important for you to do. I'm sure every information now on my design is correct. So this is just going to apply a roof load for you because this is a roof beam, right? So once you are able to achieve this, you have been able to come up with your modeling correctly. Now our design is almost about 98% ready, and this software, like it is very, very automated. Automatically is going to generate our entire design for us. So if I click on automatic generate and design building structure from selected, automatically the entire design is going to be generated. So I will click on yes. So you can see that our design has been generated correctly. So if you look at your slab detailing here has been generated for us. Let's look at this. This is the slab detail. Very good. That is something I was supposed to do anyway, but so let's look at from there. We'll be able to know if our design, our detailing is correct.